The worst thing you can do is have undeniable talent with people rooting for you because they see your potential and are excited for your win and your growth, only for you to squander it.
Hello, stranger. It's been a minute since we last kicked it. And by the way, I just got in town, and I won't let cumulus clouds all in the sky.
Hey, welcome back. So if you're new here, I'm LuminousRah, and I discuss all things of self-evolution, self-love, femininity, and any download that the divine may be sending my way to share with you. Before we get into anything, we always set the mood. So let me go ahead and light some incense so we can get comfy and ready for the discussion. If this video has found you, it's for you, because I had other topics that I wanted to discuss, and this one took precedent over all of those topics. This one is also going to be more free-flowing. For a matter of fact, in a lot of my recent videos, that's what I've been saying. So I guess I'm starting to get comfortable with my arrangement and how I deliver the messages. I will say, if you're struggling with anything like depression, anxiety, this is definitely for you. If staying on task feels overwhelming because you're taking on too much, or maybe ADHD makes everything harder, this is for you. And I know because these are some of the challenges that I've had to work through while pursuing my goals. The urge to deviate away from my plans has always intensified around the new year. Why? Because that's when I'm doubling down. That's when I'm trying to get all these different things that I said I was gonna do in the beginning of the year done, because all of a sudden it feels like I'm running out of time. And even though it comes off as very chaotic and maybe lacking a little self-love, I do it because I believe I love myself. I wanna sit still and say, okay, what do I need to get done? What do I need to achieve? And what am I trying to put myself in position in order to achieve next year? I believe we all do this because we love ourselves. Simply put, we just want to be successful, not just for the next year, but all years to come. But here's the irony. I'm not good at sticking to plans, and I don't like to be told what to do, not even by myself. I noticed this while I was shopping for journals for my mom. I sent her one, and it happened to be a daily task planner instead of a journal or somewhere where you could just write your notes. And when she saw it, she was like, oh heavens no. I am too bossy for that. I just like the cover. I laughed and I said, right? I don't need anyone telling me what to do, not even my journal. That's called demand avoidance. It's something that I learned is common with people with ADHD. While I don't know what it is and whether you can solve it, I just know that I have to find a way around that. And I believe that if this video found you, instead of me telling you what to do for your new year or give you advice and beat you over the head with all of these different notions and understandings, I'll just share with you what I did to reduce depression and anxiety while achieving some of my goals this year. So before I tell you exactly what I did, I think it's only right to share what some of my goals were this year. And it's not something that I necessarily wrote down in detail, but it was definitely noted that these are the areas that I want to focus on. Number one is becoming a better parent. At times, I felt disconnected from the kids and even harsh. But by the end of the year, I developed a deeper, more nourishing bond with them. And I can just simply see it, how they show up in life, how they adjust without being prompted and handle their mistakes with grace. They're not just surviving, but truly flourishing. And that's a reflection of the love and effort we've poured into our family. The next one is growing in my romantic relationship. This year has brought deep introspection between my partner and myself. We faced the good, the bad, and the ugly together. And we decided to clean up our shared mess side by side. I feel like our first year was about healing our generational wounds and traumas together. This year was more about learning to love the best and the worst parts of one another. Nursing those wounds we caused and building each other up, we not only strengthened our relationship, but our shared journey with each other. And we were able to share our journey with others, creating a beautiful community around the idea of rebuilding love. Okay, this might seem a little surface level, but the third one is decorating for the seasons. Decorating my surroundings has brought me so much joy and kept me in a high vibrational energy, which assisted with how I transitioned through this year. It's a practice that I wrote about in Seasonal Reset, and I've stayed committed to it. Creating beauty in my environment has fueled me on a day-to-day basis and given my life a deeper sense of purpose. So speaking of that ebook, the third one is writing ebooks. I wrote multiple ebooks this year, and the process has been incredibly fulfilling. Writing has allowed me to help others while also helping myself. I plan to continue this journey as we move forward and I deepen a connection with my audience and my sense of purpose. The next one is, of course, evolving as a person. Self-evolution is often hard to see when you're in it, right in the middle of everything, in the eye of the storm. But I can feel the growth, the compassion, and understanding expanding within me. Others have noticed it too, sharing how proud they are of me and admiring my growth. I feel different, but yet I'm still the same. My anger remains strong, and I believe that's a good thing. I've maintained a level head in situations that would have definitely shaken me before, and I continue to reflect and grow, even when I think I've done enough. I have done my best to stay consistent with creating content for YouTube. YouTube has gotten a majority of my focus this year. I put everything else on the back burner, sort of, because I also did a lot of studying in the background to revamp and create the new version of myself to be able to share it with you all in a way that is cohesive and not ADHD chaotic. So being more consistent this year is definitely top on my priority list on YouTube. That commitment has been the cornerstone of my journey this year. I know you all have seen my growth and the evolution of my channel, maybe the evolution of me in general, depending on how long you've been following me and supporting my content. I know you all have seen a lot of growth from me, especially on my channel. I look back at my old videos and I'm like, child, why did I set the camera up like that? Going through this reflective process. But one thing that I've always made sure that I kept at my core is to share from my heart. These accomplishments did not come easy, okay? As you all have watched me grow and evolve, especially on this channel, it's definitely been, in a sense, pretty chaotic to learn and stay consistent and figure out who you are in this new realm. That takes a lot. And in that, I had to face a lot of my struggles, especially with depression, anxiety, and ADHD. So knowing that I have all these obstacles to face, I wanted to make sure that I gave myself what I needed in order to stay afloat and not try to fight in survival mode to tread the water. I wanted to stay afloat comfortably. So at times I couldn't be too hard on myself. I had to create when I was able to be in that space to do so and learn how to divvy up the time when I put things out, so on and so forth, and try new things, just show up the best that I could. So now that I was able to do that, I can add a little bit more to my plate. Through that intentional effort, self-compassion, and willingness to keep pushing, I've made progress. I hope that me sharing my journey inspires you to reflect on your own goals and small steps you can take toward accomplishing everything that you want going into this new year. We all want a healthier, happier life, right? Okay, now we get into the good stuff, and if you can tell, I'm a little excited, so bear with me, okay? As I have transitioned into my self-awakening journey, I have always had this cornerstone of How do I share my world, my universe with those around me? How is the experience that people experience with me different than others? What unique energy do I bring to people's lives, and how do I cultivate that and operate in that truly? One thing I think it is my curiosity. And I always bring this up. If you watch plenty of my videos, then you'll hear me say I'm very curious. But lately, I have been very intentional about studying. So now in this phase of my life, I can still have that cornerstone, but it shows up in content creating. In that, I realize there's a certain language that you speak when you show up on camera. There's a cinematic language. I don't know how the Most High, the Divine, led me down this path. I can't recant where it originally started. It might have just been small cookie crumbs or breadcrumbs that led me here, but I took it upon myself to do a lot of studying and research in cinematography. I wanted to explore storytelling in a way that goes beyond words, because of course you can get your point across with words and you can tell stories with words, but how do you visually match what your heart is saying? And incorporating visual elements has become a powerful way for me to express myself and convey my messages as a part of my unique art form. Along this journey of studying and searching, devouring information, I've come across some great content creators. It's brought some type of light and joy into my life. I think I was losing faith in the internet and what people were creating. I feel like a lot of things that are pushed through the algorithm don't fuel my soul, but to be able to find creators that inspire me and bring that spark into my life and my thought process, that was so refreshing. I can't help but to blush because I'm like, oh, thank the Lord. So I'm grateful that I was able to find them, and I'm grateful that I'm able to continue down this path to find my own cinematic language or voice, and hopefully I can be as compelling but in my own way. And this is what I mean when I say the journey is so much more valuable than getting to the end, because in that search, in that curiosity and need of finding out, how do I do this? How do I speak this particular language? I was able to curate my algorithm. It helped me refine it on various platforms. So every space that I tap into now supports my creativity, my productivity, and mindset. I'm sure that you may have a hobby or something that you may be interested in that will make you feel that sort of joy as well. Or it can also be cinematography as well. You never know. Now, I'm not one to dream of labor. I am one that loves to have a good work ethic. I like to work for things. I like to put in the effort and see how my efforts have made something grow, blossom, be beautiful. Sometimes allowing other people to spectate something that I created and experience something that I created also feels good as well. So discovering cinematography and learning cinematography and spending countless hours of research and understanding what it means to me to show up like that in that way. I also know downtime is very important. In my workspace, I was able to create things that help me stay on pace naturally without me forcing myself to do something. I'm able to be inspired to do something, and that just shifts your whole entire aura. Even when I say it, I feel chills, I feel warmth in my body because I need to be inspired. I'm not the type of person that's black, white, or gray, and I can just stick my head into it and get it done. I need different things going on at the same time. So having that inspiration is wonderful. And at the same time, having downtime is very important. And knowing myself, I still seek entertainment that speaks to me internally that will continue to add stimulus to my mental, my spirit, and my overall energy. I don't want to feel bad while I'm watching something. I don't want to be rage baited into anything. I want to keep my energy high and flowing and divine. So I'm gonna share some shows with you that I definitely watched multiple times this year. And I may have been stimming. I'll just, whatever, call it what it is, because they feel really good to me. It's like a comfort. Yeah, let me just share them with you. The first one is on Netflix. I believe all of these are on Netflix. Actually, you can find them on Netflix and maybe some other streaming service as well. But the first one is Inventing Anna. The story stems from people didn't know whether she was pretending to be this Russian heiress, I believe it was Russian heiress, or whether she actually was this Russian heiress. So as you follow her story, you're kind of wondering what's going on? But if you're like me, you kind of already know what's going on. But just to see how far she made it by telling herself that she is what she is, I was mind blown. And this is based off of a true story. So even knowing that is okay. I personally love it because in each character, I could see some of my pitfalls. I could see myself through them. And I was like, I want to be more like Anna in this way. What is holding them back from being more like Anna in that way? Or I want to be more like this character in that way. You know what I mean? And just finding balance, finding grace for myself, and using that as fuel to be able to get up and say, you know what? I'm going to make this happen for myself. Sometimes you have to say that. It's not enough to set the goal, try to accomplish the goal. You have to remind yourself and say to yourself, I am going to do this. I'm going to see this through, and I feel it. I'm not going to say you should cut corners like Anna. All right. But definitely incorporate some of the manifestation techniques that she used, because baby girl, she did her research and she understood the assignment. And that's what you got to do. You can't show up empty-handed. You can't show up with an empty noggin. Okay, you have to have something of substance to back up what you are trying to achieve. Nobody likes mirages, illusions. Okay, you have to be that, what you seek. Okay, so next one. Don't judge me. The next one is The Last Airbender. Avatar, The Last Airbender. I have rewatched this show so many times over the years. From the time that it came out all the way up until now, I've watched this show, and I've watched every recreation of this show, an extension of this show. My son has even watched all of the shows with me, okay? And there's so much calmness and peace and hidden elements in that show that sometimes I'm just drawn to a certain episode or a certain season. And these are on days where I just didn't feel as productive. I didn't feel as good. Sometimes you need that pick-me-up. Even though personally I don't have friends to call to trauma dump on, even if I did, I probably wouldn't. I have people in my life that I can talk to, but I like to go through this time period alone and figure out things by myself. And watching shows like The Avatar help me a lot. They remind me of things that I've already picked up on and maybe I drifted away from, and it guides me back to a mindset, a space where I can be balanced and whole. So that's my number 2. Number 3, which honestly should probably be number 1, but they're not in order of favorite, okay? But it's Demon Slayer. I absolutely love this anime. It stole my heart the first time I watched it. My son introduced me to this anime, and baby boy is on point, okay? The way Tanjiro behaves is the epitome and the core energy that I want to have for myself. He's so loving. He's so graceful. even when he's dealing with souls that he may not understand in the moment, he understands that they're still a soul. They still should be respected. You should still pray for them. You should still have some sort of core compassion because they exist. And you don't know their story up until they became this creature. You know, things turn us into the demons or the evil that we like to call out. There's something that created that. And I don't know about people that were born that way or think they were born that way or whatever, but I will say that a lot of people have a backstory. And while you don't have to agree with them and their choices, their actions, you can still have compassion because they made it to your experience. So there's a version of them that is also you. Love, love, love this anime. I have rewatched every single season many times, okay? So I think there's another season that's gonna come up, maybe in 2025, I don't know, but I'm on it, baby. I'm on it. Next one. This one is a K-drama. I have a big thing with K-dramas. I love them so much, but I'm not gonna go into that. Let me just tell you the show. It's called The King, Eternal Monarch. Baby, first of all, if you want to manifest a divine partner, I think The King is like the perfect example of that. Because even though he grew up being reared as the king and he had to become a king very early in his life, he still was down to earth. He still had space to grow and learn. He was a little disconnected from the real world, you know, but how he handled it was beautiful and eloquent. I also love the fact that he was incredibly intelligent. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm definitely a sapiosexual, okay? I need to be stimulated mentally first, all right? But the love affair that he ended up having in this movie and how it, well, it wasn't a movie, it was a show, but how it unfolds. Baby, that's one K-drama that I watch multiple times every year, okay? Next one, Hotel de Luna. This is also a K-drama, and I love it so much because the main character, her backstory reminds me of my backstory. Even though I wasn't alive in whatever BC, I don't even know the time period, but her heartache, her pain, and how she became revengeful and stood up for what she believed was right. She came from a checkered past, how she developed. I don't know. I don't want to give too much away. It also goes into divine intervention and how things play out to try to heal you, even though they hurt. It's still trying to heal you. The universe, the divine, the Most High is always working in our favor. And that is a good reminder with some comedy and some serious moments, but it's a reminder that everything is gonna be okay. But I absolutely love, 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 love all of those shows, okay? They are amazing in my downtime. As I revamp and recharge, they give me everything I need to show up and show out. Yeah, I think the bottom line is each one of these show a level of self-discovery, grief, and resilience. They dove into a journey of finding your power, even when circumstances tempt you to stray away from your higher self or your light or your purpose. They capture the struggle of resisting forces that offer fleeting relief but leave lasting wounds. Most importantly, these stories remind us how to prevail, no matter the weight of the obstacle or the moment of doubt. So for me, they're more than just entertainment. They are lessons in perseverance, growth, and embracing the light within, even in the face of darkness. I just want to say, if you all hear the heater, apologies, we run our heat. Let's get into the next section. Piggybacking off of what I just said, persevering even in the face of darkness. I feel like a lot of the process in life, a lot of the process in our journey is incredibly messy. And the best example that I have to explain this is my recent attempt to revamp my closet or my wardrobe, redefining what it means to be in my 30s as a mother of a teenager and a bonus preteen. I started collecting pieces a while ago, thoughtfully curating items that felt like me at this stage in my life. And recently, I received a gift of clothing from Aritzia. And when it was my time to dive in and play in my clothes and try to curate outfits, it became chaos. I took my time to savor the beautiful packaging, and I examined every garment, and I was Googling a lot of the material. They have mixed material, but my intention is to try to move towards the direction of having clothing that is more on the natural side. I also thought to myself, how is everyone going to have organic material clothing? That's a lot of people. That will be a lot of cotton, a lot of wool, poor planet, poor animals, right? But we still want the best for ourselves. In the midst of all of that, because some of the pieces are like that and some of the pieces are mixed and some of the pieces that I had before are synthetic, but I started to bring them together and cultivate different pieces. I even borrowed some items from my fiance's side of the closet. But I was trying them on, evolving my sense of style, syncing something that complemented not only my body, but also my mind and soul. And child, it's a lot of clothes. By the time I was done or halfway done, I looked around and cringed at the sight that I was seeing. I made so much of a mess. And if you are a girl's girl, if you are a fashion girly, you may not be messy like me in this moment, okay? I literally pulled out all of the stops, but you might know, you may have had a moment like this. I was too tired to clean up, and I reflected on how I almost stopped myself earlier in the process. As I reflected on that moment, I realized I was trying to avoid creating this mess at that time. But I knew that if I cut the corner and stopped myself now, I'd pay for it later. So I pushed through. I pulled out gloves, honey. I pulled out jewelry, stockings, socks, coats, shoes, everything that you can think of. Everything that I had, almost, just about. And I fully embraced the process. It brought so much joy to me to do that. I don't like mess, but trying to actively figure out my style and figure out what I want to look like and putting it all together, not waiting for the day to come and then trying to figure out what I want to wear and just standing in the closet and looking like I wanted to have the full outfit, the full process, the full look, the full idea already in my mind. And of course I took pictures. So something to build upon and come back to, some sort of normalcy and planning, okay? But in that process, for some reason, it hit me. This is why personal stylists move the way they do. Every time I've watched a movie or a fashion show, if you see the behind the scenes of what they have going on, you'll see how meticulous their work is. Everything is planned down to the picture of the outfit, the accessories, and the hairstyles. It crossed my mind, like, I need to figure out what hairstyles for me look best with this outfit. I was trying to replicate that, I guess, in my unconscious mind, just a little messier, without the rolling racks, garment bags, perfectly matched shoes. I still have a lot of shoes to buy, even though I just bought some. And that's okay, because growth is slow and steady. Full transparency moment. Even though those clothes sat out for days, shout out for dealing with me and handling my chaotic mess, Papa. Like, I know it's an eyesore, but shout out to you. I realized this chaos, this mess, was a necessary part of me discovering how I want to express myself. Before I could sit down and share this story, I had to pick up every piece, slowly and meticulously putting them away. The process, though tedious, brought me pride because I knew I was building something new. I was paving a road I'd never traveled. It reminds me of how I've been feeling lately. For the past 8 years, I've been laying this road, reaching what feels like the finish line, only to go back and inspect every little detail, ensuring that I didn't miss a thing. Now, as I walk this path fully with wisdom I've gained on this journey, it feels different. I know what's ahead, but the understandings I have now change the outcome. The process of growth is never easy, especially when it feels like you're being kicked down. But it's even harder when you're the one doing the kicking. Challenge yourself to keep going, to face the mess, and to do the work. That's where the magic happens. In the mess, in the effort, in the journey, you find yourself. You have to go through the journey. No matter how talented you think you are, or you are, you still have to walk the path. The worst thing you can do is have undeniable talent with people rooting for you because they see your potential and are excited for your win and your growth, only for you to squander it. You play small because you're focusing on the voices of those who aren't supporting you. And you do that simply because they're louder than the people that are. Don't do that to yourself. As I came up with all these things that I wanted to share that made me feel fulfilled and balanced this year, there's one thing that came up right around this time period. It's been like a foreshadow in the back of my mind. I've been seeing little breadcrumbs of this. It reminded me of the love that I have for poetry. Poetry has been popping up a lot for me lately, and it reignited my desire to write again. I'm not going to share one of my pieces with you today because I haven't written it down. Or maybe I have, but it's on my phone. It's not ready. Anyway, wouldn't it be nice if I did a video that's like a poetry section? Like we did like a Love Jones poetry bar type vibe. That would be cute. I just came up with that right now. Like we'll see what I do with that. But I want to create fragrant stories with my words, allowing people to lose themselves in it. And in that, trusting that when they resurface from being immersed in my world, they'll feel inspired to change or see things differently. So there's a poem from this wonderful poet, activist. The list goes on and on. I was guided back to Nikki Giovanni. I've always known of her because my mom shared her with me years ago. Yeah, she told me about her years ago. But recently, she's been appearing more frequently in my existence. She's been on my social media feeds. She even popped up on YouTube in one of her TED Talks. And she shared this poem that I want to share with you guys. Okay, so bear with me, all right, because I have to read it. It's not off the top of the dome. But this poem deeply re-energized me. It gave me hope I didn't even realize I needed. So hopefully it does the same for you that it did for me. Let's go ahead and dive into the poem. It's titled Ego Tripping. There may be a reason why. I was born in the Congo. I walked to the Fertile Crescents and built the Sphinx. I designed a pyramid so tough that a star that only glows every 100 years falls into the center, giving divine perfect light. I am bad. I sat on the throne drinking nectar with Allah. I got hot and sent an ice age to Europe to cool my thirst. My oldest daughter is Nefertiti. The tears from my birth pains created the Nile. I am a beautiful woman. I am a gazelle. So swift, you can't catch me. For a birthday present when he was 3, I gave my son Hannibal an elephant. He gave me Rome for Mother's Day. My strength flows ever on. My son Noah built new ark and I stood proudly at the hem as we sailed on a soft summer day. I turned myself into myself and was Jesus. Men intone my loving name. All praises, I am the one who saves. I sold diamonds in my backyard. My bowels delivered favorite uranium. The filling from my fingernails are semi-precious jewels. On a trip north, I caught a cold and blue, my nose giving oil to the Arab world. I'm so hip, even my errors are correct. I sailed west to reach east, and I had to round off the earth as I went. My hair from my head thinned as gold laid across 3 continents. I'm so perfect, so divine, so ethereal, so surreal. I cannot be comprehended except by my permission. I mean, I can fly like a bird in the sky. That was beautiful. Well, you already know what time it is. That's my time. I hope you all enjoyed this beautiful session we had today. I will see you next time. And you already know, peace, love, and a little bit of spice. Mwah. I'll see you later.